second, we are very comfortable. Who is going to challenge if someone says that 5 is greater than 3? Is there anybody? If I claim that 5 is greater than 3, nobody is going to challenge. If I say the value of 4 is greater than the value of 2, going to challenge. Now, this type of domination in one dimension is very straightforward because the ordering is very much specified, very much systematically or methodically defined, well defined. So long we are within the scope of one-dimensional scenario, we are very comfortable, as I mentioned a few moments back. Think of just extension of the space. Instead of a single dimension space, decision space I am talking about, in single variable case, let us take a two-dimensional case. So x and y, or for that matter x1 and x2. So in a x1, x2 scenario, that means when we are dealing with two variables, it's so simple. Let me give you an example. In x1, x2 decision space, what is the typical? It's a tuple. So 2, 3, 1, 5. Right? So now I am providing two such instances of points, 2, 3, and 3, 2. Who is dominating whom? What as the first component goes, 2, 3 is dominated by 3, 2 in respect of first component. But the entire scenario is reversed when we consider the second component. So, if we go by component-wise enumeration, the nature of dominance of one function, or say one component, vis-a-vis that of other, they are conflicting. And as a result of which, you are not in a position to specify as to who is dominating what. And this is because of this conflict of domination, component-wise domination. What is the way out? The way out is to formally define dominance in higher dimension case. That is what we are about to do. Is the background clear? I hope it is. Okay. Now, a solution x1 is said to dominate another solution x2 if both conditions 1 and 2 are true. Please try to follow or observe the words individually, because each and every word here is very, very important. When both the conditions 1 and 2 are true, out of these two conditions enlisted, which I am going to explain very soon, if one is compromised, domination is gone. Right? In order to formalize your domination mechanism, that out of these two solutions, typical solutions x1 and x2, x1 and x2, higher dimension points, of course, because had it been single dimensional case, life is easy. 5 is greater than 3, which I have already explained. Now, when we were to deal with higher dimension situation, then the real flavor starts. So both the conditions need to be satisfied. No negotiation is possible. What is condition number 1? x1 is said to dominate. In that case, the first condition is the solution x1 is no worse than x2 in all objectives. solution x1 is no worse than x2 in all objectives. So if I want to ascertain the larger, which one is larger compared to the other, then it will be no worse than means in that case, not less than. If we are in the process of investigating greater than, then no less than is what is your is no worse than mean. So across all objectives, that means m many objectives are there, across all objectives, this must be valid. I come back to the example that I provided. So 2-3 versus 3-2. Condition number 1 is violated, right? Condition number 1 is violated, whether it is in greater sense or greater than sense or smaller than sense, doesn't matter. In either way, it is, condition 1 is affected. So out of these 2 points, the 2-3 and 3-2, no one is dominating the other because condition number 1 stands violated, right? If I take, say, 2-3 and 1-3, is it going to work? 2 points, 2-3 and 1-3. Condition number 1 is satisfied, undoubtedly, because out of these 2-3 and 1-3, one is no worse than the other. Fine. Okay. Coming to condition number 2 then. Out of these m many objectives, no worse than is definitely necessary. But in addition to condition number 2 suggests that at least one objective must be strictly dominating or strictly better. At least one objective. It's not that all objectives are no worse than scenario and your life is free from any hassle. No, so. In addition to that, condition number 2 has to be valid as well, which indicates that out of these m many objectives or out of these m many no worse than case, at least one case must be there where strictly better situation prevails. Yeah. Now coming back to this example, 1-3 and 2-3. Condition number 1 is already satisfied. We have seen. Condition number 2, is it satisfied? Yes. Because out of, with respect to the first component, 1-3 and 2-3, with respect to the first component, a strict better than relation works. Because there is, 2 greater than 1 or 1 less than 2 is always valid. So both the conditions are satisfied then. And that is the reason why if you compare or if we are in the process of comparing 1-3 and 1-2, we are secured. One is dominating the other in multi-dimensional case. Single dimension was always comfortable. Now, for higher dimensional case, this is the way you can go by. Right? Is it clear to all? So this is the bit of mathematics. Now here, it is correct. Okay. Now here, what we are dealing with, is it objective space or decision space? Objective space. Why? Because we are considering the functional values, f1 and f2. For the sake of simplicity, we are presuming that we are handling with 2 objectives at a time. Maybe higher dimensional objective space also. I mean, three objectives, four objectives, that may be there. Theoretically, always possible. But when it comes to the question of putting it in a graph, it may be difficult. That is the reason why, in order to have the understanding properly, we have restricted this two-dimensional case only. So there are four options, four nature of objectives that may be there. F1 and F2. So the first one, this is the first one, which indicates mean mean. Mean means minimization of F1 as well as minimization of F2. Both are being minimized. Second, this is min max. First one is minimized, that means F1 is minimized and F2 is maximized. Max mean. F1 is maximized, F2 is minimized. And max, where both F1 and as well as F2, both are maximized. So these four type of objectives or options may be there in course of multi-objective optimization or bi-objective optimization. If we had to handle with three objectives, how many options would have been there? 2 to the power 3.
8 options.
If this capital M many objectives we had to deal with, how many? 2 to the power capital M many. Right. Okay. Now, please note the red marked portion. What is this red marked portion? Now, please, I want to draw your kind attention to this, because this is an explanation which is very much crucial. When it is a minimization problem, it means what? Minimization means the solution, the well-cherished solution should be along this F1 axis or horizontal axis should be as close to the origin. Similarly, along F2, it should be as close to the origin. But at the same time, it should be, this is your objective space, it should be the elements of objective space alone. So if we think in terms of pool over the two functions undergoing, in terms of their objective requirement, the pools are in this direction as well as this direction, leftwise as well as downward. Leftward for horizontal axis, downward for vertical axis. As a result, what do you get? Where do you expect your solutions to lie? Exactly, this is the region. That is what the significance of the red mark region is. When it comes to the question of, say, others, for example, this is min max. This is what it is. There is a discontinuity in between, which I am going to explain very soon, but for some time. This is your max mean. Naturally, pool is along horizontally along this direction, vertically downwards, rightward downward. So this is where your best points are expected to lie. And this is max. This is where your solutions are expected to lie. Okay? So if it is your mean, then it is, in terms of geographic map, you can think that the concentration of your optimized solutions are expected to lie along what is this? Southwest.
Near to the origin.
Southwest. Oh, upward is north, so it is southwest. This is northwest. This is southeast. This is northeast. Okay. So the typical concentration should be like this. Now, out of these, there is a discontinuity here. Coming back to that problem, you must notice. This is because there is a Koch. This region is causing you difficulty, causing your life the problem, right? Because there is a drop 1 second going on. It's a structure like this. So this structure is called non-convex structure or concave structure. Whenever in your objective space this non-concavity or non-convexity or concavity type of situation prevails, it becomes the source of your what is known as singularity. The situation will be, I mean, there will be a region where discontinuity is going to prevail, because I am not going into the mathematical aspects, but points for this region, this portion, where red marked region is not available, their inferior solutions will trickle in, unfortunately. So that is the reason why they are excluded. So the moral of the story is, so long you are enjoying the convexity aspect, you are very, otherwise you need not be worried. But whenever there is a violation or disturbance in terms of convexity happens, mathematically speaking, then you have to be a bit more careful. Right? This type of structural, singularity or structural discontinuity might prevail. Because of shortage of time, I cannot go into the details of why this is so, or the formally established as to why it happens. Just let us accept it for the time being. Okay? Please.
So Pareto is.
I'm coming to that.
Yes.
Now this red marked region of an objective space, which typically constitutes the concentration of all objective solutions, known as Pareto optimal solutions. Right? The best solutions, best optimized solutions, they form Pareto optimal solution set. Okay? Now there is a subtle difference between, which I shall come very soon, Pareto optimal solution set vis-a-vis Pareto front. Both are very close to one another, but there is subtle difference which I shall explain soon. Now before that, let me explain what Pareto is all about. Pareto, incidentally, is an economist long back, where in course of his formulation, he needed this, where he had to handle conflicting type of situations to come to a decision, economic decision, of course. So the concept of multi-objective or bi-objective case, he tackled in his own way. But it's long back. So he explained everything in terms of economic aspects or economic related, requirements with his mind. Later on, in computational science, in our domain, all this has arrived in a very big way, and accordingly, a multi-objective optimization, or generally, to be more specific, evolutionary multi-objective community is a very strong research group community in the field of computational science. In the later part of our talk, we shall see how different type of opportunities are there. Next. This is convexity, non-convexity issue. I am not going into that. Okay. I am not, because I am. This is the structure. What happens is that if a function satisfies this condition, this is a convexity restriction. If a function satisfies this condition, then this is called a convex function. And structurally, this function induces a specific regions or points in your objective space. I mentioned that those points or those, I mean, if your objective function, any of your objective function suffers from the drawback of being convex, at least in some portion, may not be everywhere, then I mean, formation of the Pareto optimal solution set gets disturbed and becomes discontinuous in certain regions, in certain pockets, as it happened. Okay, so this type of function where it falls short of being convex, it might create some uh, irritation for you, right? Technically speaking. Next, please. Forget about it. Just an example. Yeah. So here is another example. So distance, comfort, cost, three factors. Okay. Distance, comfort, cost. Forget about distance part. Comfort versus cost. If I want to enjoy
Then directly,
more
directly
cost,
proportional.
coming. If I want more comfort, I have to remain prepared to shell out additional money from my pocket. Cost will be higher. And if I want to restrict cost, I cannot expect very much comfort. 5 টাকা দিয়ে আমি এখান থেকে কলকাতা যাব বন্দে ভারত এক্সপ্রেসে, it's never expected. It's an illusion. Right? So there is a relation between the comfort and cost. Comfort as such is something non-enumerable. It's a qualitative feature, abstract, something abstract. But everything it is possible to convert into some, you know, numerical representation or quantitative representation. So a qualitative can be converted into some meaningful quantitative by giving some appropriate functional mapping. That is possible. It's a separate issue, not exactly coming within the purview of multi-objective optimization. Which means that when we are saying comfort, it's in quantitative sense rather than qualitative sense. Let us assume, right? So when it comes to the question of comfort versus cost consideration, which type of problem it is? Cost horizontal axis, cost minimization, comfort maximization. So it's a mean max framework of problem. Correct? Okay. Correct. Now, a brief examination for the audience. I am a teacher after all, right? I am rather tempted to get the feedback. Okay. So there are 5 points in F1, F2 scenario. F1 is maximization problem. F2 is minimization problem. এটা বাংলায়ও লেখা আছে, যাই হোক, make things easier. So 1, 2, 3, they are marked 1, 2 or labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a max min scenario. My question, out of these 5, which are the best? Which is the best? As the case may be. Open to audience, please. পিছিয়ে যাব না, ওই ছবিটা দেখে বলে দেবে হবে না, বলো। না বলতে পারলে এখানে থেমে যাবো, বলতে পারলে এগোবো। Max mean. So, I mean, which way the pull are taking place? Towards right along horizontal and downwards along vertical. Then think. It's logical thinking, nothing else.
1 and 4.
Are they?
3. 2, 4.
3. Then anything?
2, 4. 1 and 4.
Max mean 2 4.
This is max min problem.
2 4.
Rethink.
I just
3 is going to work. Yes.
3.
Next question. Other than 3, anything else?
5.
5. Very good. Anything more?
Ball.
ওটা একটা ধাঁধার উত্তর হয়ে গেছে।
Dickerson.
কিছু ডিপেন্ড করছে। ঠিকই আছে বলো। 3 and 5. I assure you that 3 and 5 they are your good solutions or your desirable solutions. My question is next. Other than or apart from 3 and 5, anything more?
3 1.
Answer maybe yes or no.
One. 3 and 1.
হবে কি ভাবতে হবে তো একটু, খুব তাড়াতাড়ি ভুল উত্তর দেওয়া হচ্ছে, একটু ভেবে ঠিক উত্তর দেওয়া হবে এটা। মাল্টি অবজেক্টিভ exactly. The answer is the solutions. There are 2 solutions, 3 and 5. Why? Please wait for some time. We shall come back. Next, please. Now the Pareto optimal front. In short, Pareto front. The concept is coming. Okay. Please recall that few moments back when I was making our discussion. So Pareto optimal solution set we have seen. Okay, with examples. Now Pareto optimal front. A solution achieves Pareto optimality when no other solution can improve one objective without compromising another. আমি কোনো কিছু ইমপ্রুভ করতে গেলে ওয়ান অবজেক্টিভে অন্য অবজেক্টিভে মার খাবো, পারবো না। The set that next comes. The set that includes all Pareto optimal solutions is called the Pareto optimal set, and the corresponding points in the objective space form the Pareto. Now, these two are different. Pareto optimal solution set is the collection of points in the decision space. Pareto front is the collection of points, corresponding points in the objective space. The front যখন বলবো, when we spell out front, Pareto front, to be more specific, it's an objective space phenomenon. When it is Pareto optimal solution set, it's decision space phenomenon. Correct? Okay. There is an example. Here it is. See, right hand side is your objective space, left hand side is your decision space. So if your problem is the max, in fact, this is the max problem. So in the right hand side, that means in the objective space, that becomes your Pareto front, because objective space related points, optimized points, they constitute Pareto front. And those points, if we consider their pre-image in the decision space, that may be anything in the decision space, those set of points marked in the decision space, they are Pareto optimal solution set. This subtle difference is there. Now, this non-dominated, the concept of the cardinal challenge part, right? Determining the non-dominated solution set itself. On this challenge, there are many reports.